The first images hit social media just before midnight, a translucent red vinyl spinning under studio light, a handwritten style composition book laid beside it, a cassette and CD stacked like relics from another era. Within minutes, fans knew something was different. After years of relative silence as a solo artist, Bruno Mars wasn't just releasing music, he was staging a return. An early preview of the Romantic, the long-anticipated fourth studio album from Bruno Mars, has ignited a wave of excitement across the music industry. The indie-exclusive translucent red vinyl edition, accompanied by a composition-style lyric book, CD and cassette formats, signals not only a new chapter in Mars' career, but also a calculated statement about artistry, nostalgia, and cultural dominance. For an artist who has built a career on precision and spectacle, this rollout feels intimate, personal, deliberate. For nearly a decade, Bruno Mars has occupied a rare space in American pop culture, not constantly visible but never absent. Since the blockbuster success of 24K Magic and his genre-bending collaboration Project an Evening with Silk Sonic, Mars has operated on his own timeline. He has resisted the streaming-era pressure to oversaturate. Instead, he has curated moments. Each appearance, each single, each performance has felt engineered for impact. Now, the Romantic appears poised to reassert his position at the top of the industry. The early preview showcases a carefully designed physical package. The indie-exclusive vinyl, pressed in translucent red, is more than a collector's item. It's a message. The inclusion of a large-format lyric composition book evokes analog songwriting traditions, hinting at vulnerability and craftsmanship. The simultaneous availability of CD and cassette formats suggests a deliberate nod to multiple generations of listeners. It's retro but not gimmicky, nostalgic yet modern. Music retail analysts say this strategy is intentional. In an era dominated by algorithm-driven streams, physical releases have become prestige artifacts. Artists at Bruno's level don't just sell music anymore, they sell experiences, said a senior executive at a major independent record distributor, who requested anonymity because they were not authorized to comment publicly. The vinyl presentation tells fans this album is meant to be held, studied, and lived with. That approach aligns with Bruno Mars' career-long emphasis on musicianship. Born Peter Jean Hernandez in Honolulu, Hawaii, Mars was performing on stage before he could legally drive. Raised in a family of musicians, he absorbed doo-wop, classic rock, reggae, and R&B as native languages. By the time he relocated to Los Angeles, he carried both raw talent and old-school discipline. His breakout came not as a frontman but as a songwriter and producer. Behind the scenes, he co-wrote hits for other artists before stepping into the spotlight with doo-wops and hooligans. The album introduced a voice that was both elastic and emotionally direct. Just the Way You Are and Grenade dominated radio, but it was his ability to blend eras, channeling the past without sounding dated, that set him apart. That skill became unmistakable with Uptown Funk, his explosive collaboration with producer Mark Ronson. The track's cultural reach extended far beyond charts. It infiltrated weddings, sporting events, school dances, and political rallies. It became communal. In the years that followed, 24K Magic solidified his command of funk revivalism, while Silk Sonic revealed his deep reverence for 1970s soul traditions. Yet with success came scrutiny. Critics occasionally questioned whether Bruno Mars borrowed too heavily from past eras. He responded the only way he knows how, by performing. Live shows became his rebuttal: tight choreography, flawless vocals, a band operating with near-military precision. Even skeptics conceded that few contemporary artists could match his stage control. Now with the Romantic, industry observers sense a shift in tone. Early whispers from insiders suggest the album leans more introspective than its predecessor. The composition-style lyric book included in the indie vinyl package may be symbolic, a sign that storytelling will take center stage. If 24K Magic was swagger and Silk Sonic was homage, this project may be confession. A veteran music critic based in New York described the preview imagery as strategically intimate. In a recent interview, she noted, "Bruno Mars has mastered spectacle. The question now is whether he's ready to let people see the quiet parts. The packaging hints that he is." The decision to release multiple physical formats simultaneously also reflects a broader industry evolution. Vinyl sales in the United States have surged for consecutive years, often driven by younger listeners discovering tactile listening for the first time. Cassettes, once obsolete, have re-emerged as collectible items. By offering vinyl, CD, and cassette, Bruno Mars bridges generational divides. He speaks to millennials who grew up with CDs, to Gen Z collectors hunting aesthetic artifacts, to longtime fans who value permanence in an impermanent streaming culture. But the rollout is not just about formats, it is about timing. The American pop landscape in 2026 is crowded, fast-moving, and fragmented. Viral hits explode and vanish within weeks. Attention spans are short. In this climate, Bruno Mars' re-entry carries weight precisely because of his restraint. He does not flood social media daily. He does not tease endlessly. When he moves, people notice. Behind the scenes, collaborators describe a meticulous creative process. A studio musician who reportedly worked on early sessions for the Romantic said the environment was intensely focused. He doesn't chase trends, the musician said. He studies structure. He'll redo a bridge 10 times until it feels timeless. That word, timeless, has followed Bruno Mars throughout his career. It explains his appeal across demographics. It explains why his Super Bowl halftime performance remains one of the most replayed in modern memory. It explains why even in years without solo albums, his catalog continues to stream at elite levels. Culturally, his influence runs deeper than chart metrics. Bruno Mars helped reintroduce funk, soul, and live band aesthetics to mainstream pop radio at a time when electronic production dominated. Younger artists cite him as proof that showmanship and musicianship can coexist. His fashion choices, sharp tailoring, retro silhouettes, bold colors, have also shaped pop visual identity. Yet fame has not erased the disciplined performer shaped by family gigs in Hawaii. Those close to him often emphasize his work ethic over his charisma. "The cameras catch the smile," said a producer familiar with his sessions. "They don't see the hours he spends obsessing over a hi-hat pattern." As anticipation builds for the Romantic, industry executives are watching closely. A strong debut could redefine the commercial ceiling for legacy-era pop stars re-entering the marketplace. It could also reaffirm the power of physical album campaigns in a digital-first economy. For YouTube audiences especially, the narrative is compelling. This is not a newcomer chasing virality. This is a veteran recalibrating his myth. The translucent red vinyl becomes metaphor, passion, risk, exposure. The composition book becomes invitation, read the words, understand the mind. In many ways, Bruno Mars' greatest strength has always been balance. He balances nostalgia with innovation, precision with spontaneity, mass appeal with personal detail. The early preview of the Romantic suggests he understands that audiences in 2026 crave authenticity as much as spectacle. There is also the human element. Nearly 10 years have passed since his last solo studio album. In that time, he has matured, navigated private chapters, and observed an industry transformed by technology and shifting tastes. Fans who once danced to his early hits are now older. So is he. That shared passage of time creates emotional stakes. If the early signals are accurate, the Romantic will not simply revisit past formulas, it may reinterpret them. The presence of multiple formats signals permanence. The intimate packaging signals vulnerability. The silence before the announcement signals confidence. As the album's release approaches, one reality remains clear. When Bruno Mars returns, he does so on his own terms. He has never relied on controversy to stay relevant. He relies on craft, on rehearsal rooms, on studio patience, on the belief that songs built carefully can outlast trends. The American music industry thrives on reinvention. Few artists manage it without losing identity. Bruno Mars has done so repeatedly, from pop balladeer to funk revivalist to soul traditionalist. Now, with the Romantic, he appears ready to fold those chapters into something cohesive. For fans, the spinning red vinyl represents more than merchandise. It represents continuity. It represents an artist who understands the value of waiting until the moment feels right. And as cameras zoom in on that translucent disc catching light in its grooves, the message feels unmistakable. Bruno Mars is not chasing the present, he is shaping it. The next chapter is about to begin, and if history is any guide, it will echo far beyond its first week on the charts.